Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Weiss Schwarz Study Hall podcast. Today I'm joined with...
Oliver, you go first.
Call me out. Hi guys, Oliver here.
Andrew, what's up, man?
And I'm James. Before we get into the podcast, just a little reminder, make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the cool stuff out on Facebook, YouTube, and Patreon. TCGU University, as always. We do go live on Twitch a lot of times as well, both to play like other card games as well as just Tam likes to hang out. So make sure to go to there, twitch.tv/TCGU University. We're on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify. So make sure to go out there and like us on that. If we're not on a podcasting service you would like us to be on, just let us know and we'll get ourselves out there. Shouts to all our sponsors. Addy, Andrew Dang, Anthony Albano, Bryce Rathsek, Chris Miner, Clay Cardwell, Jay Rogers, Jarrett Hubbard, John Snow, Justin Fars, Kat Maria, Kevin Broberg, Lucinda Letica, Andrew, Paul Casagrande, John Stone. I miss him a lot. John Stone, Paul Casagrande, Peyton Kiker, Samantha Stevens, the baddest bitch around, Theodore Ruiz, and Tyler Zane Pease. And we have 3 sponsors today. Cards Custom Build, nice little plaque behind me here. Inked Gaming and Dex Protection, but more in an ad on those guys later.
Dude, I want to hear about that third sponsor, dude. I haven't heard about them.
You have to watch the ad in another video.
No, not the ads.
So how are you guys today?
Oh, dude,
pretty good.
I am here. That's a word.
Don't you take my intro? Don't you take my intro?
I'm trying to pull up the live stream, so that way I can on my other laptop, so that way I can watch the chat, but I can't, sadly. I'm a little sad.
The YouTube one, so I know when we disconnect.
That's me. I'm sorry.
It doesn't tell me.
There was a lot of dinging.
So today we wanted to go over a little light discussion topic with how much tech is too much tech. And then later in the show, we're going to get into how to prepare for events such as locals or like regionals and whatnot. So let's go with how much tech is too much tech. This was, I believe, a topic you brought up, Oliver, last week. But you said you were going to try and save it for Connor, but Connor couldn't show up tonight either.
Yeah, Connor's being a nerd. So
you gotta be a nerd. Going to school is important. Stay in school, kids.
Dude, there's never too much tech. Don't lie to yourself.
Okay, so
it's really funny because it's really funny because Andrew, you know those 5 log Ryzen decks I built in TTS?
Yeah.
One of those is practically just a giant one-of deck.
Nice, got him. I guess I can start this topic off. I'm okay with that. So there's a time when you look at your deck and you're just seeing 7 different kinds of cards and they're all doing something different in your deck and they don't help you sustain. And you're just like, well, these would work in different situations, not the situation I'm in. Not a general situation of what you want to do. So, I have 4 different kinds of brainstormers in this deck. Maybe I should think about not having 4 different kinds of brainstormers, where you're just finding cards that help you in different situations, but not the general sense of the main components of your deck and what it wants to do.
How many brainstormers is too many?
Do I usually run?
How many is too many?
Jesus.
When you're playing 4 different kinds of brainstormers, yeah, I feel like that's too many. I usually play 3 to 4 different 3 to 4 of one brainstormer, so that way it stays consistent for what I'm looking for. And it's usually the opposite of what my combo wants to do. So if, let's say, my combo wants to salvage, I usually find a brainstormer that wants to search, so that way I can mediate going through discard or waiting room and then through deck. If like my combo doesn't do either searching or salvaging, that's where it's just dependent on, does this brainstormer have a second ability, or does it have, and is that second ability better than any other ability that would help this deck?
Does my deck like to stay up in number? Does it like to mill itself a lot?
Does my brainstormer make my dudes bigger? Does my brainstormer do a secondary effect to get through my deck faster?
Like draw cards.
Yeah. So That's
bad brainstormers.
So tech is usually something you want to do that is usually something that isn't the main function of your deck, but will help you in some way of getting to there. So maybe a spicy one of Drop Searcher, because that card may be tech because it just doesn't say that, but it says something else. So like the Priestess Drop Searcher, it also says when it's played, look at the top card of your deck and play on top or leave it on the bottom of your deck. And so that's a really good secondary ability, and it's a Drop Searcher, and it's a really good one-of, so it's a really good tech card. The still going on the Goblin Slayer, the Free Fresher Priestess that says pay 2 stock, free fresh your deck. That's a really good tech card because maybe your deck, you get through a lot of your deck and you want to just save your damage on refreshes, on refresh point. So instead of flipping your deck to take a refresh damage, you flip your deck by paying 2 stock.
Hey, one damage is a lot of damage.
Yeah, 1 damage saves you a lot. Like Connor said in I think 2 podcasts ago, where he said I usually keep an average of 7 cards in hand and on board at the same time. I've actually implemented that in a couple of my decks, and I've actively been doing that, and I've been saving a lot of damage while playing the game. Like when I was playing my Goblin Slayer deck, I've saved myself in 5 games in a row against, I think it was ReZero, because I didn't clock because I kept a board state. I was just like, I have a full board of 5 units and I have 4 cards in my hand. Do I really need to do clock right now? No, I don't need to, so I won't. So I save myself. I survive at 3-5, play Resurrection, and now I'm down to 3-0. And I'm like, that's cool. I guess I didn't die this game either.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, so
practice.
So those spicy one-of cards can help you a lot in certain matchups, and usually they're for specific matchups that you feel like you can't win against. So these cards counter that matchup.
I feel like things like backup free freshers and early play killers are on this fringe spot between just staples and tech pieces.
Yeah, I think that depends on what your deck wants to play, and that dictates if this card is going to be a mainstay or is it going to be a tech card. So if it's part of the main mechanic of your deck, so the anti-heroic spirit rider, I believe, the 2/1 that gets big, and you can play it off of the 2/1 Sakura. So you play one of the 2/1 Sakura back row that changes into the 3/2 Sakura. It also says ditch a card to put that 2/1 on board. And usually if you're playing that, you're playing it as a 2/of. It's like, oh, cool. Instead of paying 1 stock to play this, I'll just ditch a green card from my hand and play it from waiting room onto board for free. Neat. That's really cool tech.
I'm of the persuasion of you can never have too many one-ofs, specifically because back when playing Diva, I literally had 7 to 9 in my deck at all times that were spicy one-ofs because I needed them for different matchups.
Yeah,
so, happens when you're like a C tier deck.
That's
man. I mean, that's the truth behind high tier decks and low tier decks. I mean,
consistency.
You have to change your adaptability.
Consistency too.
I think you play almost around that number in the Goblin Slayer's standby deck, but that's because you play different events too. So you play a Duffel Bag, you play Scroll of Gate, Resurrection. I play one of the Sword Maid in 3/2. One of the backup Priestess 2K backup, and then my level 0s. So
for the main builds of Goblin Slayer, I think you're hovering around anywhere from 1 to maybe 5, probably in the mid range of about 4, and that's if you play just the one-ofs of Scroll of Gate, the one-of Resurrection, maybe the 1/1 as a one-of. I think you play more than one of the backup for the 2K. But other sets, going back to Diva, there's literally a card that you tap 2 cards for 2k, which you need for some power matchups for your 3/2 games. You have another card that's a 2/1 that's a drop on play, drop a climax, pay 1, grab a climax. You have a drop salvager, which you have 3 slots really to put drop salvagers and drop searchers for. Generally, you want to do a 2/1 of those. Then on top of that, there's like 4 other cards that you can do. Like one of the 2/1s for specific things.
The 0/0 backup. Do you play that as a one of the 0/0 backup?
That card is so good.
Okay.
Stop suiciding for free. Nice.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, so like all of those cards, and there's still a ton of other ones, like the back row card that's gives 500 frontal and a level. Like you might need that for certain matchups because suicide.
My Goblin Slayer deck has 11 one-ofs.
Holy shnikers!
I think that's how many I run in my Goblin Slayer deck.
It's a one of the Swordbane that picks up the res. One of the, I believe this is the Drop Searcher, Earth Mother's Disciple. One of the 1/1 Encore Spearmen. One of the 2/1 Backup Early Play Killer. One of the 2/1 Spearmen that's also an early play killer. Then you have the you also have the it's not on Encore decks at the time when I built the deck, but the Free Fresher Priestess.
Yep.
So 12. You have the 2/1 2k to your front row 3 level 3s Priestess. The level 3/2 Goblin Slayer that combos with that one. Yeah. One of the Sword Maiden 3/2, one of the TD Priestess 3/2, the early play Goblin Slayer 3/2, and then Resurrection.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see all those cards.
And I guess one of Welcome to the City of Water.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's also really. I have it a 2 of here just to fill out my deck, but that one just picks up a Goblin Slayer whenever I need it.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Like it's just it's a lot.
That's also inherently with the deck. It just flows really well that you can play those spicy windows and get away with it. I think it's just dependent on your deck. It's either,
you also kind of get away with it because of like Torch.
Yeah. So
you get away with it like Torch and all your combo pieces.
Yeah. The deck inherently goes through a lot of itself, and it can salvage or search.
It's kind of the way I feel. I haven't really like fully looked at your list, Andrew, or like Attack on Titan in general, but I think Attack on Titan has a lot of cool tech pieces it can play. I just like 1 or 2 ofs, just because of omnidirectional.
Yeah, no, it does definitely have a lot of 1-ofs that you can put in there, but that's like the problem with playing high tier versus like mid to low tier. I guess Goblin Slayer is kind of the exception just because it has a lot stronger of digging potential than pretty much every other deck.
A lot of decks, yeah. It got a weaker omnidirectional.
Yeah, well, Attack on Titan, it's to the point where it has everything so perfectly set up that if you're not playing the most optimal build aside from like your level 3/2 build, it's pretty much just going to hurt you because you want to see the cards that you want to see at the time you need to see them. Because like I was having this discussion earlier today, the Drop Searcher versus the Clock Salvager. The Drop Searcher is not bad, at maybe like a 1 or a 2 of, but I'd rather see the Drop Salvager every time because it gives me the ability to say, hey, I'm at 0/6 and I need to level right now so I can get my errands off. I'm going to do that every time. Because
you're Ricky.
You're losing Ricky. So much consistency to the point where that one move could lose you the game when you're playing at the highest tier.
Yeah.
So it's things like that. Goblin Slayer can manage it because it can dig for whatever it needs for basically any situation. But Attack on Titan, it has to be uber consistent like that, because if you change the formula to the soup, essentially, it's going to be a different flavor, you know?
Yeah, and Attack on Titan likes to stay consistent and find these pieces and play these pieces to just kill their opponent. So yeah, you still play 1/0 Armin because 1/0 Armin's really good, But the reason why 1-0 Armin's so good is because it picks up a yellow card or it picks up gear. Yeah. So it still does what the deck wants to do, which is find gear, save its units, keep hand advantage, and just like kill your opponent by finding specific pieces to kill your opponent.
Yeah.
So
it's another argument I was having of the 0-0 red versus 0-0 yellow for Attack on Titan. I prefer playing the 0-0 yellow because you can get it off of that 1-0 Armin, which is really important. Because otherwise you have a chance of not getting anything, which is just awful.
Yeah, but sometimes like it's fine depending on how your hand's looking like. I mean, if you're using 1-0 Armin to find 1-0 Aaron, then like man, you're digging hard, man. Because that means you don't have that means either A, you have 0 Aarons, or B, you have 1 Aaron, and you need 2 in order to deny your opponent some stuff. So it's like you want to play 2 Amelia 1-0 combos because that will let you build a decent sculpt. Instead of just seeing 1, you see 2, so now it lets you find better pieces. Yeah, that's why ReZero doesn't play a lot of 1-0s because it likes to stay consistent. It wants to do its game plan of maybe if you're playing blue-yellow to early play your Felts and early play your Rems in order to just beat over your opponent at level 2 because you know your opponent's level 2 game isn't really strong. It just the deck wants to do what it wants to do, and if you try to be counterintuitive with it, it can ruin your deck. It really can. It can ruin how the flow goes through your deck, and that can feel even worse than not seeing pieces because now you're doing something that your deck doesn't want to do.
Yeah, exactly. James, how do you feel? I know that you play more of the Mimi decks.
Well,
I feel like you're
what
the
do you
type
mean
of
I play more of the Mimi decks? I'm playing a Goblin Slayer deck right now.
Yeah. What combos do you have in the Goblin Slayer deck?
It's Priestess Standby.
Okay. I'll give you a pass sort of on this one.
You're playing 2 good combos, but usually two good combos that aren't really
together. I was having this argument with Kyle the other day because I was playing versus him too.
Yeah.
On TTS. Because he was just like the goblins he was saying just why would you sacrifice not playing the 1-0? Well, it's because I'm not sacrificing my wallet. And I like both being able to play the back row witch off of standby and have that on top of already having priestess. I like that defensive capability. Priestess early, witch late. I like it. All my strength comes from just playing my 2/2 Encore Goblin Slayer. Yeah.
Building a big defensive board.
And just basically slow playing you. The only reason our game lasted so long was because he was also playing Ryder.
Yeah.
So we played a 2-hour game where I was blocking a shit ton and he was doing nothing but healing and making sure I couldn't attack for soul. And I'm just like, man, this game's going nowhere. And then I whiffed 5 out of the 6 of my priestesses.
Hey man, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's a lot wrong with that.
Oh no. Andrew whiffed like 4 in one of our games, and he's just like, "What is this?" And I was just like, "Dude, it's just the deck saying not today, man."
I whiffed 5 out of 6.
He missed 4 out of 6.
I missed everything but 1.
Oliver, there's one good thing about that game. And I'm pretty sure that wasn't part of our tournament that day.
No, it was our first round game, dude.
Was it?
Yeah, it was first round game because I was playing what deck was I playing? I think I was playing ReZero. And the reason I won that game was because you got dicked so hard because you whipped 4 of your 6 priestesses. So I kept smacking you for damage. And you're like, well, I guess I'm not playing priestess anymore. She's not big enough because of your rems. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Then you bounced one of my rems back into my hand like a dick because it had 4 markers underneath of it.
Well, the solution to not having big enough priestesses is you play witch in the back row and you play the 2/1 2K to all your level 3s.
These are privileges that only standby gets.
You're right. Priestess standby, best build.
Yeah, but there's a problem there. You just lost all your consistency.
Actually, I don't know. I've actually had really good consistency.
That's just set naturally. It's
we'll
whatever.
have to do some test games.
We'll have to do some testing after this, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just how you as a player feel. If you feel like you're not staying consistent with your deck and you're not finding your pieces, then you might have too much tech in your deck, and you might have to be a little more consistent and take out some of the tech in order to play more consistent cards that are
What do you
already
think's the
in
best
your
tech deck?
Goblin Slayer.
Yeah, it has to be Goblin Slayer.
I was going to say Sword Art.
Sword Art is really good at
Sword Art is very good at playing a toolbox.
They can play a toolbox, but the better Sword Art decks are more consistent Sword Art decks.
Yeah, so Sword Art, while it is a good deck, the problem is it's not a tech deck, because the things that you want to see in Sword Art are still going to be your 4-ofs. The things that you don't want to necessarily, or the things that you kind of want to see, and it pretty much goes for most every other card, is going to be like a 2-of. Because there's so many good cards in that set that you want to have all in the same deck. So you shove everything in there, you end up with 4-ofs of your really good cards in your combos, and then you have 2-ofs of basically everything else.
Yeah. I feel like Sword Art is a toolbox deck because you can play so many different variations of Sword Art. So you have literally a toolbox. You just choose the tools you want to play with.
Yeah, exactly.
Tech deck is definitely Goblin Slayer because you can play either standby gate, or you can play gate pants, and you can still play 1-ofs of cards, and you can still find them. I just feel like the standby deck is more towards the 1-of tech deck because you're playing standby. So
yeah, standby is the most techie of the climaxes.
Hey man, I'm gonna play my 2-1 cowgirl in the back row.
Hey, coming soon, we're gonna get choice, and that's gonna be real techie.
Yeah,
that's gonna be real tech dependent.
Dude, Konosuba choice. Let's go. I'm playing that. Let's go.
Konosuba choice. I thought I'd never hear the words.
Yep.
Okay, so before we get on to our next topic, we're going to go ahead and cut to an ad break. We're cutting it to a little bit early, but topic 2 and 3 kind of mesh into each other, and we didn't want to cut them off in between like a conversation. So let's go to this ad break, and then we'll come back to topic 2 of how to prepare for tournaments.
See you in a bit, guys.
Cards Custom Builds. Are you into cosplay? Looking to get into cosplay? Do you want to show up to events dressed as your favorite character? Well, then Cards Custom Build can help. Cards Custom Build creates everything from cosplay accessories like props, trinkets, or weaponry, all the way up to full-blown costumes. Do you want to make a perfectly flowing cloth, or maybe want rigid battle armor? Cards Custom Build has you covered. Their work is guaranteed to make you the talk of the con. So go over to Cards Custom Build on either Facebook or on their Etsy account. Links will be in the description down below. And make sure you mention TCGU University to get 5% off your entire order. We're also sponsored by InkedGaming.com. Are you looking to get a custom playmat? Well, then we suggest you check out InkedGaming.com. They have custom playmats, dice bags, mouse pads, and so much more. They even recently added a stitch option to their playmat and mouse pads as well. Stop those frayed edges from happening. Inked Gaming lets you play your game with your style. And if you want to get 10% off of your entire order, use the code TCG University, all caps, no spaces at checkout, and help support us by customizing your game to your style. And lastly, the show is brought to you by Dex Protection. Dex Protection is on a never-ending pursuit to create the highest quality storage and protection accessories. Their design and innovation comes from die-hard gamers and collectors just like you. So they know what you want in the products that you buy. They're constantly taking in feedback from their customers, and they have no plans to stop their innovations or their drive to refine the products until they're recognized as a leader in their industry. They make terrific products, all with the avid gamer and collector in mind. So go ahead and check them out. The link will be in the description down below.
Welcome back, guys. Hope those were some nice ads. So let's get into our second topic. How do you prepare for your first locals tournament? How do you prepare for your first locals?
Andrew, go first. I'm still laughing.
Oh, God. Okay. So I'm going to tell you a story of a little boy. His name was Andrew.
Okay, this little boy named Andrew.
He wasn't actually that little. He was actually a junior in high school.
Little boy named Andrew. Got it.
Yep.
Okay, got him.
All right. So I actually played Weiss Schwarz like way back when Diva 1 just came out. And
I remember that. I remember I played that.
My very first time playing the deck was with my brother. And we didn't actually know what we were doing, so we were playing the game horribly wrong. It was great. And then I convinced one of my friends to also pick up a deck. Funny enough, he wanted to pick up the Diva deck. I'm so glad I bought it before he started playing. And then from there, we learned how to play the game a little bit better, but it still wasn't actually how you're supposed to play the game because there wasn't a lot of like YouTube content or anything on it.
Yeah, the scene of the game was really quiet when it first started.
Yeah. So I picked it up and I met our boy Connor. He showed me the ropes and he kind of
Wait,
got me further.
This is
into
a
the game.
story about you? I thought it was about a little boy named Andrew.
Oh yeah, sorry. The little boy Andrew met a kid named Connor.
It's gonna get real hard for you, huh?
Yeah, it is. He has big Coke glasses. He seemed like a nice kid down the street, kind of scrawny.
Oh, by the way, if you're in our Discord chat, you'll see Connor. He's in our meme chat.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a picture of Connor in the meme chat. So you'll get to meet him.
Yeah, that's right. It is.
But,
it's like the only picture in the meme chat.
But so he started playing the game. He got into it. Diva 2 had just came out, so he got to pick that up, which super sick stuff. Still waiting for Diva X, Weiss. Big
It's never
heart.
gonna happen.
But yeah, he learned how to play the game from there, and his first tournament was actually pretty good. He got like third or something, even though he knew that he misplayed a couple times. And then from there, I was just kind of like hanging out, going to more tournaments, and yeah, I kind of lived happily ever after. And I still play Weiss. Woo! No money in my wallet.
Wait, the story's about you? I thought it was a little boy named Andrew.
Nope. Secret plot twist. It was about me the whole time.
Dang.
Dude, amazing plot twist. But wait, I have one question.
Yes.
I forgot it.
Prepping for me was literally not anything because I just played other people's decks. So if there's anything to learn, don't spend money at first. Find a deck you like. Turned out my first deck was a deck I liked. Clap.
Man, do you guys remember when the game was slower?
Yeah. Go play Diva. What are we talking about? The game still is slow.
I mean, I play Log Horizon, I guess.
I'm newer than you guys. I started when... What's that just came out?
Idolmaster.
No. I picked up Idolmaster. Idolmaster had been out for a bit. I think the set that had just come out was...
Persona 5.
No, I have been playing for more than that.
Or not Persona, Disgaea.
No. Disgaea is really old.
I'm talking not just the trial deck. I'm talking like the whole set.
I don't remember what set was just coming out. It wasn't Idolmaster because I picked that up and had been out for a bit already. But my first introduction to the game was actually maybe. But
it would have been
my first introduction to the game was actually playing at the store after a Vanguard tournament, and Mike asking me if I wanted to learn how to play Weiss, and I was just like, I'll play more card games. And so they were having a trial deck tournament, and so
that was just Gaia. Okay.
And I bought a trial deck of Fate Stay Night, and I played in that tournament, and I got second. And I remember I got dicked hard because in finals, I think I was playing against Mike, and I started the game out with 7 climaxes out, and I was like, I think I lose this game. At least it was a finals game, not my first round. And so I played then, and then I went to I didn't play any more games after that. Like, I literally didn't play any more Weiss. And so I just had this trial deck for Fate Stay Night because, every once in a while I was down on a Saturday, I would go play because I lived in Iowa and I worked in Omaha at the time. And so I was driving from Iowa to Omaha pretty much 6 days a week.
I did that for a while.
So we could play with your boy. I mean, what?
Well, no, I used to work at the GameStop in Wolf Creek in Bellevue. And so I was driving 6 days a week to go work there because, my bosses suck there. And so afterwards, I would get off at like 5 or something, and I would just go to like the shop for a while and then go home after that. And so I did that for a long time. I actually played Vanguard before Weiss. So Vanguard was my main game before Weiss. Another Bushiroad game. If you guys don't know, maybe you know. I don't know.
Bad.
And so,
What?
yeah, that was literally my first introduction to Weiss. And then like I didn't start till after regionals actually playing and learning the game, because I decided I wasn't going to invest into another game until I decided that Vanguard wasn't for me. So I kept playing Vanguard instead.
How do you think people should prepare for their first like locals tournament?
Go and have
Usually you just want to go and learn to play the game. Usually it's probably like maybe your third or fourth game. It's not literally your first set of games. And so you usually just want to go out there, have fun. If maybe you want to play more matches before your local tournament, maybe actually just going to a locals and just saying, hey, I don't really want to play in your tournament, but I want to just play the game. Maybe there'll be some people who just don't want to play the tournament. I know there was a couple of us who, we didn't play in a tournament every week. So at usual we had 6 to 8 people, but like there's probably 10 to 12 of us that were actually just sitting around, just talking, having fun.
I
And
know
so you
that,
can probably find them.
I know before like this whole quarantine stuff started, we had that. I don't know his name, but there was that guy at TCGU who kept showing up doing that. Just showed up, played a couple games, left.
Yeah.
I think right
No, he played in
before
tournament.
we start. Yeah, right before everything had to, before the world stopped, he did play in a tournament.
Yeah, I think he got 5th.
Nice. All of
Yeah,
us
so-
suck.
I felt really, really bad about playing against him too. This is the 1 week that I had just finished my Heavens Field deck, and I'm like, I'm gonna slap this on the table, and I'm like, oh, I'm such an asshole.
I think I was playing ReZero, but I didn't play ReZero like I usually played it with like all the consistencies. I think I like mellowed it down, and so I just played just a regular game of Weiss. So like I didn't do a lot of abilities. I only did abilities when like I was like going to be completely screwed. I wanted the game to actually be like momentum based, so like we're both doing stuff, so that way neither one of us was like losing exponentially.
Felt bad.
I know nothing about Monogatari.
Well, no, it's just how I am as a person. Me and James are kind of the same. If it's like a new player, I don't really want to just like ruin a community, because I've been in a bad community. I used to play in the Pokemon community, and that community sucked, and I don't ever want anyone to feel like that in a community. That community was terrible. It just wasn't fun. The community itself, the people in it weren't good people. So I wanna harbor a community where we all have fun, we enjoy the game, we're just there to play. Like that's how the Omaha community is. A lot of us, if not all of us, we're just there to play and have fun.
Be the community you want to join.
Yeah. So if you guys personally have joined bad communities, then you guys know from experience that's like I understand where it is. I've been in it, so like yeah, it sucks. And
My thing is always just like it's actually like more of a nightlife motto. It's just like, don't be an asshole. Just like
Yeah, no, that's fair.
be the community you want somebody to join, or you would want to join.
Yeah,
You're not gonna want to join a community where you show up day one and some asshole just like kind of like shoves you off to the side.
Yeah,
and, like just doesn't even pay attention during a match. I do that a lot, so like I understand. If you hate me, I get it.
yeah,
Why he
But,
has
like-
the merch.
yeah. And
Hashtag I
that's-
suck.
And that's how I feel, because you know when I first met the Weiss community, there were a lot of guys that were just there to have fun. Like I met Andrew the first time there, and we just kind of hung out. And he knew I played Vanguard, and he knew about Vanguard, but he didn't play it. And he would see me because I think they would go down Sundays too, but they would just hang out. They wouldn't do anything for Vice. They would just go down, have some fun, because
Kinda
you know Mike was there.
I think it's
Yeah.
rougher for like quieter people that join our group too. Like
Yeah.
people who are more of like reserved, quiet people. Because I don't think I notice it when we're like a small group of bunch of people, but I notice it when I'm there and we have a lot more people. We get really rowdy for like no reason. Like we get like stupid rowdy for like stupid reasons.
To be fair, we're a bunch of dicks and assholes, but that's
Yeah.
because we all love each other and we know when to push buttons and when not to push buttons. And that just comes from being within the community for a long time in Omaha. So we give each other crap, but we also go with the mentality of if we give someone crap, we better believe that we're getting crap later. So it's just like it just comes with the territory. So we try to tone it down when it's like new people, obviously, because I personally don't know how people view me when they first meet me. So I like to keep it toned down, and then I'm like later on when I know them a lot more, I tell them, hey, I technically used to be in the military, so it's like if you're not a fan of profanity, I'm sorry, but like I was in it for 6 years. Mike's been in it for 6 years. Sometimes our filter is broken, so we don't care. So we just kind of say stuff when we say it.
It
happens.
Hard life for us.
But yeah, when I actually started learning to play the game, it was just a lot of me just playing a bunch of practice matches. It was usually me playing against Barrett, honestly, because Barrett was like one of the main people at the store. So I used to play a lot of games with Barrett. That's literally how I played UFS 2 Universes. Was on Sundays when it was me and Barrett. We'd play like 6-hour games of just me learning how to play Universes before the first Nationals in Atlanta. It's just me playing games and me getting my ass clapped by Barrett. I wasn't good at the game. And I checked ones like a champ.
I mean, are we any of us really good at the game?
Oh no. Any card game is just RNG fest. Do you have better RNG than your opponent in this one game? Do you? Oh crap! You beat him. Nice, you won.
You hath beat your opponent.
At the end of the day, it's all about who had better RNG. Honestly, so all you can do is just try to play the best game you can.
That's I'm gonna bring up like another podcast because I hate ourselves. But like I was listening to like I think it's like PHG, Weiss Schwarz, or like Pittsburgh, Weiss Schwarz, whatever. And I was listening to like they were doing like a tier list, which I was interested because I want to see how low people are really putting Log Horizon. Fuck everybody thinking Log Horizon's F tier. What the fuck are you doing?
James.
It's not its fault that it didn't get a good set. Why do you gotta place it so low? We got a healer. We got a good backup 3-2. We have a Kotsky. We have a bodyguard. We have a decent brainstormer for like our deck style. We have we have an event that picks up 2 cards from our discard pile.
James.
Huh.
You don't drink, do you?
No.
Okay.
This would probably be you're about to say something that would want me to drink, huh?
Have you ever had like a banana or like any fruit before it like went bad and it's like at its peak like
as Tam hands me his dad juice off camera.
So it's one of those things where
why do you keep making him so strong?
Age, things get finer. But Log Horizon is like you open the soda and sat it down for 2 days and now the fizz is all gone.
So it doesn't mean it's bad.
You didn't reseal it to keep the carbonation because, like, let's be honest, if you're drinking Sprite, that carbonation is why you're there.
Well, yeah, but like I drink Dr. Pepper.
Okay, well, you're drinking Dr. Pepper. That carbonation is why you're there.
That's not true.
I feel like a degenerate. I hate carbonated drinks. So like, whenever I like open my soda, I literally just like pick off the tab and I don't open it all the way, but I wait and I sit it there in the refrigerator for a bit and then I drink it. Or I just leave it on the counter because I don't like the carbonation, but that's probably because I lived on a farm, so like that's beside the point. But like I hate carbonated drinks, so like soda feels really bad.
So wrapping up the
so wait, let me finish what I was saying about because we tangented off about everyone hating on Log Horizon.
Calm down.
I'm there with you, man. I think it's too low.
I'm playing Log Horizon. It has a lot of cool things that I don't think like people have tried to play meta style wise. I think like the Akatsuki, like the 0/0 Akatsuki from the trial deck, the one that comes as this SP or the triple rare or whatever. That thing has the ability to snipe things off the board. Are you having a problem with Fate? Snipe the fucking Brainstormer. Get it the fuck off the board.
I feel like you're a card captor kind of person.
Me? I mean, I like it's on the list of decks I want to like sets I want to like collect because I like the Clamp series. I've talked about it before. I like the Clamp series and like that universe. But so maybe I don't know. I also like the idea that it plays Sakura at all levels, but each color has a different strategy, and I love that.
Jesus.
I think it's just a really cool mechanic to have like as like a set style. It's just like there are a bunch of support 3/2s, but each color has its own Sakura that just does something.
Yeah. That's why I love the set. I think the set's hype.
Yeah, but what I was saying about the Pittsburgh podcast again before we got sidetracked off Log Horizon, is they were talking about how now I don't remember the original reasons why I brought it up. God, why do we have to get sidetracked? What were we were talking about? Something.
First local tournaments and tier lists.
Yeah, you were looking at their tier list.
Yeah, I was looking at their tier list, but you said something that brought me into a thought of something they said during the podcast I was listening to.
The thought of rage.
Yeah. That's more of just, the Log Horizon thing. We'll just continue on. I forgot at this point. Damn it.
All right. Well, if it comes back to you, we'll
talk about it in the post show if we figure it out again.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll move on to our third topic then, which is more of less on how you prepare for your local events, but more how you prepare for your major to minor events, like your regionals or worlds, stuff like that.
Okay. James, you haven't gone first, so how do you prepare for regionals and national events?
So here's the thing. I have not played in a single regionals, worlds, minor event.
Doesn't have to be Weiss Schwarz.
For Weiss Schwarz,
doesn't have to be for Weiss Schwarz.
I have not competed in an event for Weiss Schwarz. We also had this similar topic earlier this week on the Final Fantasy podcast, where I've also not competed in a like major minor level event. But James, I play what?
For Final Fantasy though, if we want to go to regionals or national events, dude, I'll let you borrow one of my decks and we'll just like build you a deck from it. I don't care.
We're hella planning to want to go to events. The issue is just like, everything died.
Get out of the town.
Everything died.
Everything got canceled.
2020 is canceled. Yeah. I haven't got to play in major events for like Weiss Schwarz, Final Fantasy, any of the secondary card games I play. But for my primary card game, Universes or UFS, I play in a lot of events, some would say.
Yep.
Some would say a lot of events. So most of the time for preparing for that is a little different because obviously for that card game specifically, I live in a house with 3 of some of the best players in the world. Or 2 of some of the best, 3 counting me.
Dude, you live with yourself, that's fine.
This washed up has been. I live with some of the best players in the world.
Hashtag James got second. Hashtag James is second.
Hashtag washed up has been.
Hashtag James is the first loser. Hashtag James is the second best player in the world.
Hashtag that was all 4 years ago. 2 years ago. Be 3 coming up in 2021 now that 2020 is canceled.
At least you're not has been.
Yeah. But for practicing for those events, I think it's more of for me it's a little different than like other people because like they don't always get like to live in a house with 2 other people that have top multiple events, hold a high standing in the community, have played in those level events at like such a high level. But I also understand that like even outside that, like I get to play test. I play test a lot more. I'm always like trying to figure out things about my deck. I'm constantly counting numbers in my deck. I talked about this in the Final Fantasy podcast, and I'll talk about it a lot in like every card game I play. I think one of the best things you can ever do to fully understand how good you can be at a game is to just know what's in your deck, like memorize things. How many brainstorms am I playing? How many level 0s, 3/2s? How many triggers am I playing? What type of triggers? For like universes, we have like control check difficulties and control checks, which vary anywhere from like 1s to 6s, and you have to like I have like how many of those do I have in my deck? How many of 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, all across different zones. We have different like all these different numbers. And I have all those memorized on all the decks I play when I play them, and like I just at any point in the game I want to go. I have 12 cards in my deck. There are X number of cards in my hand, field, stock, or whatever. We'll count like just other zones of games, memory, remove from game, discard pile, stuff like that. But there are like 12 cards in my deck. I know what's in my hand. I know what I've sent over to like stock, memory, remove from game. I know what's on the field. I know what's in my discard pile. I know what these 12 cards are now. I know exactly what 12 cards these are. What's the odds I check this X number that I need to do right now? What's the odds of me drawing this? What's the likelihood of X, Y, Z happening? And I want to know those numbers to like a T. Like, I think one of the best things you can...
What cards are still on my deck and which cards will win me advantage or win me the game?
In a sense, I want to know so well that I get banned from Vegas. I want to count cards so well when I'm playing a game that I'll get banned from Vegas.
That's not a good goal, but okay.
Hey, for a card game, it doesn't matter.
Dude, they're going to headhunt you, man.
Not for a card game.
Nope.
Vegas, maybe. Card game, no.
Vegas. Yeah.
I may not be able to gamble at a casino, but I'll fuck you up in some card games. It's like walking into a room and they're like, you got that thing on you, and I like turn my hip and I got a deck box on it. It's like a Yu-Gi-Oh scene.
Yeah, the Yu-Gi scene where every time they got in the Battle City arc to grab the deck to put in the duelist or dual disc, they just grab it from their pocket, put it in the dual disc.
It's like a spaghetti western where you like unbuckle the clip on your gun so you can pull it out faster.
Oh yeah, quick draw.
You just unclip it. You don't pull it out. You just unclip it and just stare intently.
Try me. I'm ready for everything. Andrew, what do you do before you go to regionals?
So playing at a regionals, I've realized that I actually play the game completely differently. When I'm at a locals, I tend to. I don't want to say not care because that's just a very blunt way of putting it.
Hey, I don't care. It's okay.
I play the game for fun. I sort of pay attention, but I'm not gonna go like balls to the walls, like counting my cards. I'm not gonna like, that card's right there.
You're 40% there.
Yeah.
You're not like halfway
this is really
there,
funny.
but you're there, but you're not mentally there.
This is like the same thing this is the same thing I said on the Final Fantasy podcast.
You can use the main mechanics of the game and play the game and have fun, but you're not using every single ability to its fullest.
No, I still use every ability, but it's not.
No. Using every ability and using every ability to its full potential in order to make your deck become strong. That's the difference. You're still playing abilities, but you're not playing them for every situation, for the best cause situation.
And I'd say so. What it kind of boils down to is,
Andrew,
it's not that there's a lot of new people for the Weiss Omaha group, but it's definitely that we're all more friends, and I don't want to like have anyone get upset at me. But like when I go to a regionals, I'm the type of person who's nice, but I go to the point where I have deck sense, and I don't want to say again, I don't necessarily try not to like care when I'm at a locals, but it's one of those things where if I was to try all out every game,
you'd be tired. It'd be tiring. It'd be boring.
It's tiring, boring, not fun. Makes me more aggravated when I'm just trying to have fun. Like at locals, the first couple of times, I want to do well, sure. But like as you get part of the group, I then kind of understood, respected, balanced what I was playing, or at least my attitude towards what I'm playing to other people. But when I go to a regionals, it's a competitive event, so I'm going to be competitive. So I'm going to do literally everything I can to help myself get to the level that I want to be at.
This is like literally the same thing I said during the Final Fantasy podcast.
The last 3 or 4 events that I've went to, the last three events I've went to, I've topped in every single one. So I'm not upset. Given that 2 of those were Springfests, so whatever. But I want to
You
do
tell me
really well.
Springfest isn't a good tournament to scale yourself at.
It's still a meme. Also, it doesn't give me the variety of what I want to play against. Is the problem?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so actually, I'm wrong there. It gives me the variety I want to play against.
Because you want to see what's possible in the meta.
It doesn't give me the most optimal people that I have to play against when you're on the top of Swiss. Because when you're on the top of Swiss, I honestly feel like there might be more pressure in those games than there is in top 8.
Well, yeah, you have 2 other people there with you
Like
that
once
are
you get
hoping
that
that you win the game. Yeah.
Once you get to that 5th round of Swiss, that's where you start to see who the players are, essentially. Is this guy going to make tops? Has this guy made tops? What's his mentality? What's he playing? And when you see those types of people, like the first time I ever topped, it was Attack on Titan, Attack on Titan, Attack on Titan, me playing D.Va, a Sword Art deck, another Sword Art deck.
And Attack on Titan.
Yeah, it was probably...
Telovru was still relevant.
No, Telovru wasn't out then.
Oh, was it not out?
I'm talking about the first one. The first time I ever went into tops.
Then it probably was...
It was probably just 5 Attack on Titan.
Monica?
No, this was the first tournament after Attack on Titan came out.
Attack on Titan 1, right?
Yeah, Attack on Titan 1. But literally, before the end of Swiss, at the end of Swiss, I was 6-1, and going into it, I just lost the first round. But it's one of those things where, in Swiss, if I would have lost that round right before I got to 6, which I got very close to losing my 6th win, so I would have been 5-2, which potentially wouldn't have made it. Like, those rounds, there's so much more pressure for you to win, because the guy that I beat that didn't get into tops because I lost the next round, he got 9th. And I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. And we chatted after the game. He's a super chill person. I can't remember his name, but if you're out there, we talked about D.Va, 2015 or something. Hey. But it's one of those things, like, you got to play to your fullest, and you have to have that deck sense to where you know where everything's at. And if you don't know where everything's at, you're not going to be in tops. Unless you're crazy lucky.
Hey. So. Man, you would hate me as a teammate. Because I kind of like shit around the entire time.
I mean, I honestly want to be on your team, James.
Dude,
like I play.
No, we were planning on actually being on a team together, but
that was Springfest. That was our Springfest 2020 chat.
Dude, meme squatted up. Let's go.
It's like really weird because like I'm so laid back that I'm 100% laid back, and then the game starts, and I'm like 65% laid back. But like playing at 100% capacity.
Yeah.
It's like really odd.
I'd say that's my feelings on everything.
Yeah, so like James, I played in a lot more other regionals than I did for Cardfight Vanguard than for Weiss, obviously. And Weiss was technically my second game for a long time because I was playing Cardfight Vanguard. And so preparing for both games was literally what I do a lot. And so I would prepare more for Vanguard, obviously, than for Weiss once I started playing Weiss more. But I would literally grind out matches for Cardfight Vanguard. And I had 2 different people I played against completely because we're some of the better players of the community. And so we're going out there to play to our best potential. And so I played against these 2 people for months before the regionals was even like said to be. So I played against Karar, and I believe it was my first training partner before Karar was Daniel, and Daniel no longer lives in Omaha. But I would play against him like 3 months before the Cardfight Vanguard event, and then when Daniel moved away, I started playing with Karar, and so we would grind out our specific matchups because we were technically playing 2 of the meta decks during the time. Tachikaze just got new support, and Kagero had always been good. So we're playing this matchup again and again and again. And so we'd play for 6 hours during training days. We're playing 6-hour games, 6 hours of games. And so we're just playing matches after matches because we're going with the intent that we're gonna win regionals. And so hashtag I went farther than him, and he doesn't believe that, but I did. But this was when Vanguard was a 2-day event, so it's now a 1-day event. It's a 1-day event now. But it used to be that you'd play Swiss for day 1, and then after 6 rounds, if you made it past the first day of Swiss, you would play a second day of Swiss, which would be 3 rounds, and then it would be cut to top 8. And so we mainly practice on the endurance factor of just playing games and just being the length of the event and keeping our mentality during that whole event. Because during the regionals, if you're playing at 100% or close to all you got, you get tired. You get tired, and so
I don't like focusing for that long.
I do, and so the problem is during these events for Weiss and for Butcher Road games, and I'm pretty sure for Universes you don't get a lunch break. Do you get a lunch break, Universes? I believe you get a lunch break. Do you, James?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Yeah. So Bushy Road, you don't. Bushy Road, you don't get a lunch break.
It's 11 at night and you're still playing. Hope you get a slice of pizza or something in there.
Yeah. So usually
it was midnight and we were finishing round 8. Okay.
So
usually, and they hadn't even told us they were still planning on announcing tops, announcing new prize support.
Yeah,
Dude,
there's still a lot more going on.
So
there's a lot more going on after round 8.
Yeah, so usually for those events, trying to keep that mentality and trying to, well, even at your lowest point, trying to keep your mentality and playing in those events, it's taxing. So you're asking one of your guys who probably like lost 0-2 and probably dropped out, and you're like, hey, dude, I'm giving you like $20. Can you go get me food? I just need food, man. Between my matches, I just need to like scarf down a burger or something. And so
most of the time, that's usually what ends up happening is just like, if one of us is doing bad and they or somebody finishes a match really early, they'll run back. They'll run up to whoever's sitting at top tables like, you guys need to go run and get you something real quick. Like, because if they're running, because usually what it ends up being is like right before lunch break, they'll be like, yeah, lunch starts after this round. Get back by hour from after when the round's supposed to end or whatever, 45 minutes or however much they time in. It's just like, so you have to be back. We're starting the round at X time. It's like anybody that finishes their round early just gets extra time to just like shit around and do whatever. It's like it's usually whoever finishes early just goes around and starts getting orders. So that way they can just go get it. Or like sometimes when you're at cons, there's a wait in lines for like food trucks. You might have to go get it from somewhere else, like the cafes or whatever on site are like closed or like just full. Like sometimes you have to like have that. You have to have, in the sense of the most anime thing ever, a bread shuttle.
Yeah,
you have to have a bread shuttle.
It's just always being able to plan ahead and just expect the unexpected sometimes, because sometimes either A, rounds get delayed and so you're there for longer than you think, or B, rounds are going super fast, so you have to be ready to switch from one round to the next round to the next round.
You have to realize there might not be a break.
Yeah.
Or you have to realize there might be a lot more wait time.
Because, table 5 just had an issue because there's these abilities just shitfest, and now they're trying to figure out how to fix it so that way they can continue their game that's already in time and might go to turns. And it's just like, well, I don't know what to do. That's when you have to be thinking, what do I need to do to keep myself in a good mentality, still be able to play the game?
I have a quick question. Does Weiss Schwarz have a time on their time mechanics, or is it just turns?
Yeah.
15-minute time, and then it goes to turns after that.
That would be nice. Man, time mechanics with time mechanics.
Universes doesn't do that.
What? I thought it was turned while they had the timer going.
No. So
no.
For Weiss, yeah, I'm pretty sure.
No, you have turns, but like for old Vanguard, most of it was you have like 5 to 10 minutes of extra time. Cool. All right, once that's done, it goes to turns, because you have to figure out damage, and if you're still tied after damage, it goes to sudden death. It's dumb. I don't like it.
I'm gonna look at I'm pretty sure it's time during turns.
It doesn't matter. It's the same.
Universes,
shit.
it's not.
You're still time for amount, and even if you go past those times, you still have to finish your turns.
In Universes, it's second players after the person who went second finishes their turn, game over. So it gets whoever started the turn and then their opponent's turn. And then if not, it's a draw or like whoever's
Double
up
loss.
one game. There's no double losses.
Oh,
It's-
for Weiss and Cardfight Vanguard, if you're tied,
Double losses.
it's double loss.
I think it's that way for Dragon Ball too.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that.
I'm
But,
honestly happy about the double loss.
It encourages fast play. It encourages you not to slow play your opponent.
Yeah, but then, like, that's all in the community, too. Like, as a community, you should know, like, hey.
See, my only thing is, like, once it gets up to, like, high-level play, right? You get to the tops, all the low-end people, they've dropped, whatever. Yeah. But you get to those top tables. I get that there's stressful situations and you want to think out every play. But then there's also the people that are just, like, that are obviously taking time. Those are the people that piss me off the most.
I mean, you could have me who just goes tap, 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 swing. Your turn. Go. Come on.
No,
hit me.
Like,
hit me.
there was a person I played in one regional. They were slow playing to the point where if you looked at turn timers, because this game went to time, right? If you looked at turn timers, we finished just before like the extra 10 or 15 minutes or whatever. If you looked at turn timers, in the 45 minutes for the round, plus the extra
10,
time,
15, yeah,
plus the 10 or 15, they probably took up about 50 minutes worth of turns. Because like every turn, I would have my hand laid out and I'd know exactly what I'm doing. Like brainstorm hits, I'm doing this. Brainstorm fails, I'm doing this. Swing, 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 you're good. Go.
That's I want to try and do it just to like test things out, to like have a way to like have fast formats and stuff like that, but like have like chess clocks for like time formats. Because I want to find a way to make UFS's times rules better, but like it's really hard to, because we want to be as close to a fighting game as possible, be as highly competitive as possible, but still not take a fucking hour to play time. So I want to do like time clocks and see how that works and test stuff like that.
So I not only played in trading card regionals, but I also did video game regionals, obviously. And I played the Pokemon VGC. Rules. So I played before opponent your own personal time clock for your own personal play clock, and so I played during that crappy format, and that format sucked because I didn't play as slow. Like people would slow play so often in those regionals, and I'm just like, dude, I chose my move like 2 minutes ago, dude. Just fucking make your choice. Like, just choose if you're going to switch, choose if you're going to attack, choose who you're going to attack, because I've already made my choice. I'm just sitting here for you.
Yeah, I'm twiddling my thumbs.
That's my feeling on like competitive Weiss.
Yeah.
If it is more of a luck-based game, I get that it might take a little bit more extra time for your turn depending on what happens. But at the same time, if you're playing a competitive format and someone's obviously soaking up time, they're either stalling or they're just not comfortable with your deck. And either way, it's something that you should be punished for. If you're not playing, like, go to a regional, have fun. If it's your first time at a regional, sure. Play your games, have fun. My goal when I went to my first regional is, hey, let's go equal. So I want to go 2-2, 1. Well, I mean, I'm not going to drop until 3 games. So I want to have 3 wins, 3 losses minimum. But it's one of those things like, if you're either slow playing or you're not comfortable with your deck, honestly, you should be punished for it. Again, I get newer people might be going, but at the same time, you got to know what you're doing. Because if you're not understanding what you're doing or you're not comfortable with what you're doing, the chances of you being in that top tier, it's not there.
Yeah, I think slow play.
Go ahead, James.
I was gonna say I think slow play should be like punished during like Swiss.
Yeah.
And then should not be encouraged during tops, but should be a little more lenient. Like you should have a little bit extra time.
Well, yeah.
I think you should have. There should be like a
mountain.
Yeah, there's like a different style of how like things play and how choices are made.
Yeah.
I wish there was a way, and I know there's no way to tell it, but if there's a way for judges to tell like proportion amounts of time for like, hey, this person's taken this much time. This other person
stop clocks
literally more than half the time already.
It's literally the reason I want to use chess clocks. Just I finish my turn.
Yeah.
And just sit.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
Like
And
like
it
I think
doesn't
it'd be
even-
I think it'd be an interesting stat to look at for like tops events.
Yeah.
How much time did this person take making their turn? Does that say
Yeah.
anything about the player? Does it say something about the deck?
Yeah, and that's not even hard to put down because easily it's just an extra column in your slip. So it's like, what was your time clock at the end of the match? And so you
Yeah.
just look at it and you just add, the judge just adds it in, and it's just like on an Excel spreadsheet.
I don't know if I'm not 100% sure on this. There's a game called DKP9, which is like it's some stupid little cat game, but they've been demoing it for the last couple of years at Level Up Expo, where Universes has their Worlds event. When they play their tournaments, they have an app that links up to their system, and you can report that way. And like it'll track your life, it'll track like game stuff like that and all that. If like other card games, like major companies like Bushiroad, Konami for Yu-Gi-Oh, Bandai for Dragon Ball, Universes, Magic, all that, like could integrate that into like card games. I think it would make games very good. Like if instead of, do you guys remember? You'd have to be like a really old player, but like Konami cards. I think Magic the Gathering had some at one point. I'm not 100% sure, but they're just like they're like gamer cards. Like they track your information for when you enter tournaments, when you do all that. If like instead of that, you had like a profile. Yeah. But like instead of that, you had like a profile like QR code, and so every table you sat at had like a QR reader, and you just read your QR code as player left, player right, and it tracked that information. Like it would be very what?
How hard would that be to do though?
You would have to have the money to be able to set up like those like iPad style like devices at each table. But you would
It's
also
either that or you have to have a judge that goes down the line and scans them.
Yep. But like it would also improve on like making sure everybody sits at the correct table from like reading like table spots if they misread or something. Because if like you scan it, it doesn't work, it'll go wrong table, and you just go, I fucked up.
I'm an idiot.
And it would, but like it could also track, like if it was set up with like the chess clock, it could track that information. It could track all that, and I think that'd be a really cool thing to look at. Because like you could also like, because it'd be set up with like your tournament information, it'd have like your deck list. It would have like your set, like what set are you playing, and then it gives you player information on like how well does this player playing Sword Art play against a player who's played Attack on Titan. During this 7-round tournament, he played 3 Attack on Titans and lost 2 of those. So he's 1-2 versus Attack on Titan today. And then like you get this, like if we ever wanted to be like super competitive, like broadcasting tournament type shit, like you get the tops and you get all this information of like earlier during Swiss yesterday, he went 1-2 versus the AOT decks he faced, but now he's facing the AOT deck today, and it creates like a giant storyline. You have all these stats, you have all this cool information. That sounds sick. I see it in Andrew's face.
See, that's something that I would only recommend implementing at a regionals plus level, though.
Oh
And
yeah.
think
I don't think
at a
you get
world
any
level.
like regionals and worlds. I think were the only things you could use it at. Worlds would just be super complicated to do.
We went off on a tangent. Let's talk about this in the post game.
Yeah,
Or the post show. Let's talk about this post show.
Okay,
We went too far. I'm sorry.
we've been going for a while. I apologize.
Yeah.
It's
we
a
went off,
really
and I was
cool
just like,
topic. It's a really cool topic.
Let's talk about it in the post show. Post show seems better topic.
You guys, so we'll back up just a little bit just to get final thoughts. How do you guys think it's best to prepare your deck or yourself for like regional events?
Just play games with it.
Play
Get your
games.
games in, kid.
Count your cards. Like
Know
your deck.
what you're playing. Know your numbers. Know what's in your deck.
Know your deck, please.
Know your deck.
Thank you.
And then when you're playing, and specifically when you're playing the game, know when to search for things. And like James said, know your odds on what's in your deck and what can you find.
Also, know your matchups at least a little bit, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you gotta know what you're playing up when you're going into a top tier or a higher tier.
For sure. Well, thanks for checking out the podcast, guys. I'm sorry we went a little long on that tangent. Make sure to check out all the other videos, all the other podcasts we've done. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, all the cool stuff. You can follow us on Discord if you want to, patreon.com/TCGU University. If you hit us at that $1 level, not only do you get access to our private Discord where you can talk to all of us here, you get access to most of our videos early. You get access to all of them. Lost my spot. You get all of them early. You get access to live links. Man, I lost my spot. And
Discord.
what?
The Discord.
Yeah, you get access to Discord where you can talk to all of us. If you guys don't have it, don't worry. It will go all up on YouTube later, a week later. So don't worry about that. So as always, guys, stay alert.
Support your local
Hashtag-
game store.
Support your local game store.
Hashtag buy his merch.
Buy my merch.
Got 'em.